Hello, Braxis here, and we'll be playing some Space Engine. So, I was gonna actually record this earlier today, but I never actually got around to it. Mainly because of, well, that one YouTube glitch that kind of happened earlier where people were able to unsubscribe. It would subtract 2 subscriptions and then kind of just resubscribe and then spam that all day. I wasn't really too worried about any of that. Like I said in my video that I have kind of dedicated toward it, it didn't really worry me too much, mainly because I kind of knew what was going on. Like, basically only the face count, like the actual number of subscriptions was actually going down. The people who were actually subscribed were not being actually unsubscribed, so it didn't seem like it was going to be that big of a deal. It seemed like YouTube would either be able to recalculate the subscriptions once they get the bug fixed, or just, well, basically have to roll back subscriptions or something like that. I'm sure YouTube is pretty well designed and redundant towards these kind of problems. I think they know better, so I don't really understand why people were like freaking out about that, but whatever. People like to make a big deal out of things. Anyways, if you guys may have been able to notice, this is the nebula that was in my new banner, my new channel banner. I decided to update that because I was getting a little bit tired of the Pluto one. I wanted to go for something kind of cooler looking. The Pluto one was kind of cool. I mean, I liked it because Pluto colliding into Earth with a big heart on it. That was kind of continuing off my joke of like the whole Pluto thing a while back. But I really like that one. That one kind of had a little bit of personality to it. But I wanted something a little bit more prettier looking. And I forget who actually suggested this suggestion, but this is actually the galaxy from my previous episode, I believe. I actually bookmarked it because it's such a pretty view. And I decided to make an actual channel banner out of it. And I did that. So, yeah, really cool. Anyways, I don't really have too much to talk about this week, other than I have my new sound card. I don't really have to edit this video much. I'm going to rebalance the audio right now a little bit, tone that music down slightly because it's kind of peaking up close to the volume of my voice. But yeah, I got my new sound card and it sounds absolutely great. There's a lot less background noise. It's a lot louder. The amp is stronger. And yeah, it's called the Seba. I forget what the exact model was, but I put it in the video that I have for it. It's a really nice sound card. And yeah, if you guys have something like a mod mic, or if your mic's just too quiet or has too much background noise, and it's 3.5mm, if it's USB, then you're kind of screwed. But yeah, if you have a 3.5mm mic, definitely do look at that sound card. It's only like $7 on Amazon. Really good sound card, does the job. I haven't really tested my headphones on it, but I'm gonna assume they probably won't sound all that great, because, well, that's just the nature of it. And yeah. Anyways, like I said, not too much to talk about other than I've been editing my videos a little bit more. I'm sure you guys have actually noticed that I'm actually putting a little bit more effort into trying to bring up the quality of my videos a little bit. I said I would start doing that once I get the new sound card, and I'm trying to uphold myself to that promise. So hopefully you guys enjoy kind of the new content style that I have. I'm not really changing anything that much, just kind of working on, like, you know, just editing glamour shots, b-roll, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, without anything else to talk about, let's go ahead and start moving on to suggestions, which I have a lot of suggestions this week, like a crazy amount of suggestions. This is gonna probably be like a 2-hour video if I actually go through each one of these suggestions in detail, which I probably won't. I'm probably gonna speed through these only because there's so many. That was one of my most viewed Space Engine videos last week. It's just crazy. I didn't expect, like, how many views is that? Let me check. That is 1,600 views on a Space Engine video. That's not normal for my channel at all. Like, I do have a few that are probably up there, but those are like my much older videos, and they've had time to get up there. For something like within a few days to actually hit 1,600 views, I mean, that's up there with the Universe Sandbox 2 videos. So that's pretty crazy. Normally Space Engine doesn't get that kind of attention. But let's go ahead and get started. So our first suggestion is from Cubcat, and he says Kepler 1006, 1006. Let's go ahead and check that out. Whoops. kind of messed up there. Also, I added a little bit more of a delay to OBS, and I also changed my OBS theme to the dark theme and other stuff like that. You guys can't see that, but much more appealing. If you guys aren't aware, I use dark themes on everything because I have really sensitive eyes, and yeah, I'm basically one of those people who probably end up wearing sunglasses indoors or something like that because, well, just really, really sensitive eyes. Bright things really irritate my eyes. I'm always squinting and stuff. It's pretty bad. But, yeah. Basically, I changed OBS to a dark theme. I need to change my wallpaper back to a darker one. I swapped over to a brighter one, and it's been just bugging me. Especially when I just wake up. It's absolutely terrible. So we have this tidally locked planet here, which is discovered in... it doesn't actually mention, does it? It does not actually have that in the catalog, I guess. What about the star? No, it's also not shown. So it doesn't have a discovery date, but it has a method, which is transit. So it's just the dimming of that star there. Oh, wow, that's really cool. Not to be sidetracked there, but yeah, it's basically the planet passing over the star and dimming it slightly. But look at how, like, bumpy and detailed these clouds are. That's really cool. It's like it's almost like a mountain right here. Let's go down the first surface layer here. And immediately you can see there's another layer of very detailed, bumpy clouds. And now it looks like just the desert layer. You can see some of the mountains over there. Let's go ahead and speed up and fly over towards it. It's got kind of a blue atmosphere once you get down in here. The clouds are making it very dark. It's really diffusing the parent star. Very cool. I always like these kind of planets. They're almost like Venus-like, except this is a lot closer, a lot more scorched, tidally locked, and just crazy. Like, you'd be wondering what kind of material would probably be raining down from those clouds. What those clouds are actually made of and condensing. It can't just be water, I mean. 703 degrees Celsius, maybe. I mean, it does say H2O. Also says sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. It's definitely not carbon dioxide, I don't think. No, definitely not. But yeah, major greenhouse effect on this planet, and major relationship problems with its parent star. It's definitely a very hot, very inhospitable world. 703 degrees Celsius. Let's go ahead and check out the next planet, which is right over here. Also tidally locked, and also very, very scorched. H2O and carbon dioxide. So water and carbon dioxide. You can see there's actually a cyclone kind of mixed in with the giant, I don't know, tidally locked storm. Just kind of blending into the side here. Let's go ahead and land under that. See how many cloud layers this one has. 1, 2, 3 cloud layers for this one. And it's not quite as hot. It's a little bit further away from the star. But it does actually have a denser atmosphere, it looks like. Very cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion. Like I said, we need to kind of get through these pretty quickly if we want a reasonably timed video. And the next one is from Chloe, and I can only assume she asks, visit Kepler 27b. Here we go, I have the planet up, and let's go. Okay, so it is a gas giant. Pretty close to its parent star, as is a lot of these things that we find via transit. Normally they're close by planets because, well, I mean, the further away orbiting ones that would be in like polar orbits, inclined orbits, things like that, that would be typically the further away ones, are harder to spot. And what was that? Did anyone just see that flicker red? Why did that flicker red? I'm not tripping. I swear that star just flickered red for a moment. I don't see anything orbiting around it that would cause that. Is it just because it was at the edge of my screen? No, it doesn't appear so. Was it due to the atmosphere of that gas giant I was just at? Let's see. I don't think so either. I mean, it does, but I mean, I wasn't that close to the gas giant. I have no clue why that star just flickered red. That was a bit odd. Anyways, yeah. Transit, it's basically... I think I showed it off in the last episode. But it's when basically we're looking at a star from Earth and we see basically this. We see the planet kind of eclipse a star. Did it just flicker red again? Is the star actually flickering like that? That's very odd to me. It's not like a binary system. It's not like a star passing over the star. Not sure what's up with that. Let's go ahead and check out this one here. This sideways kind of orbiting one. Sidetracked. There was a mosquito in my room. It's no longer with us, I'm afraid. Okay, so we have kind of a very generic looking gas giant. It's got the blue and tan colors. We're used to seeing that. People who are familiar with this game and series are used to seeing gas giants that look a lot like this. But it's got some big beautiful rings and it's got a nice little tilt to its axis. Very cool. And you can see it actually does have a giant storm on it. Very awesome. What's confusing me a little bit is like the the auroras a little bit. They're a bit misaligned and they're not quite at the poles, so the magnetic field in this one's a little bit wonky. But very cool nonetheless. Let's go ahead and check out the next suggestion, which is from Akinan? Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I don't really, I'm not good at pronouncing names. I'm pretty terrible at that. I think that's very well known at this point. So I want to go to Wasp 12b, which is right here. And here we go. It is a scorched gas giant. And that is certainly a scorched gas giant. And there is the parenting star, which I can only assume is like a yellow dwarf. That is exactly what that is. And as you can see, this gas giant's not faring too well. I do believe I've actually been here before, but it was during my SpaceEngine live stream a week or two ago. And I was showing off this planet's pretty awesome comet tail. Look at that. That big blue comet tail that just kind of spans across this system. Very nice. I could actually make that more visible if you guys can't actually see that very well by changing the comet brightness. And there you go. There's the comet tail in all of its glory. Very nice. Let's go ahead and default that back to 1. And let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Cubcat again, his second suggestion. He made a correction, he thinks. This is a random galaxy that you're trying to make me visit right now. Let's see if that works. It looks like it's mistyped, but I can fix that. There we go. That should work. Type SA. So Spiral Galaxy? Oh yeah, it's using this galaxy texture that's really spotted looking, I would say. So is there anything in particular I should visit in this galaxy? Of course I need to go to the central black hole. Let's go over there. Oh, looking right into it. Oh wow. It's kind of freaky looking. Yeah, if there's anywhere you want to be in a black hole, it's not in the accretion disk, and it's not at the north and south pole of that accretion disk. That's not a good thing. Those are very bad places to be when it comes to being anywhere near a black hole, let alone being around a black hole. Being around a black hole is probably not the best place to be either. I mean, you could do that if you want. I mean, I'm not stopping you, but yeah, being around a black hole. I mean, time dilation, the gravitational tidal effects, and the shredding, and the tons and tons of radiation. I mean, it's really up to you. If you're able to go over to a black hole, I mean, that's your choice. But you know, I think I'll just observe those from a distance. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, and that is from Andromeda. And he has 2 suggestions, of course. Let's go ahead and check them out. And he also asks, add subtitles, please. I believe you're the person. Yeah. You messaged me a long time ago saying you're like either deaf or partially deaf or something like that. Unfortunately, subtitles are very, just very, very time consuming to actually add, especially to like a 2-hour video. Actually having to sit there and type out every sentence and also put like a timestamp on them and all that. I don't really have time for that. I'd be spending like a week on each one of these videos sitting there just dealing with subtitles, to be honest. Like, I understand it's like a big deal and all that, but it's just something I really don't have the time or... Yeah, I just can't do that. I can enable it to where... Well, I mean, I think it's enabled by default. I think people could actually submit their own subtitles if they want to do that for these videos, but unfortunately, I just can't do it myself. Basically, YouTube has a default algorithm for it to kind of automatically detect the subtitles, and I'm just not able to do it. I know the YouTube ones are not particularly accurate, and they have like false positives and stuff like that. Especially if I have some music playing in the background, it's not going to be able to detect it very well. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. So, we got a hot Terra here with some rounded hills. A lot of sand. I mean, a lot of sand. And we got some sedimentary rocks with kind of cracked, rough, coarse texture on it. And a bit of a grainy texture. Let's go ahead and zoom out of the planet because, well, this is a suggestion from Andromeda. It's not always just the planet to look at. What's going on here? Okay, so we got a star there with a bunch of comet tails, it looks like. And we got a top-down view of a galaxy, possibly a second galaxy. Looks like some kind of collision. And as you can see, it's actually a dual planetary system that is orbiting dangerously close to each other, I would say. Star cluster. Interesting. Let's go ahead and just turn up the magnitude a little bit, just to get an idea of how dense this star cluster next to us really is. And it is very dense. So dense that it crashed my game. Ah, man. One moment, I'll load up the game. Okay, the game is back up and running. Let's go ahead and go back to that suggestion. Oh. What? Oh. Looks like it didn't actually pull me away. I thought that was where I started. Okay, so yeah, it brought me right back to the star cluster. Let's do that again, but not up to a factor of 12. Let's go to like a factor of 10.5. There we go. Now we have a beautiful view of what the star cluster, if you actually looked at it from the naked eye in space, probably actually looks like. Because I'd imagine a higher magnitude. I understand magnitude is like, basically the brightness of these stars, and you got your absolute magnitude and relative magnitude. This would be the relative magnitude. I think if you were peering at a star cluster from that distance, you would probably see a lot more stars. There's even more stars here, but yeah, basically the game's not rendering them, and if I did render them, there would be a lot of performance troubles. But look at how beautiful this galaxy looks with the magnitude turned up. It looks so much cooler. So one thing I did do is I added a little bit of an extra delay to OBS. By that I mean whenever I release my push-to-talk button, because as you guys know, I use a push-talk button for recording, even though technically I should be using voice activation. I just don't prefer that. Yeah, basically I added a little bit of an extra delay so it doesn't just, you know, cut me out like crazy whenever I release it. So hopefully that's a good improvement. Interesting. I think these have the same texture. Oh no, that one in the center is a little bit different. It's got a lot more spiral going on. This one's more of like a ring galaxy. I want to go ahead and default the magnitude because it is actually bogging down the performance now. There we go. Should be all smooth. Yep, all smooth now. Can't see as many of the stars. But very cool. Got a galactic collision here, and is there anything else kind of in the general area? It doesn't appear so. It just seems to be kind of a lone galactic collision. in its own little area. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion from Andromeda. And it looks like it is a moon. Okay, it was gray for a second there and kind of just loaded in its texture. That's a really cool looking world. I don't think I've actually seen a world like this, and that's kind of unusual for me to say. Yeah, it's a desert world. It's a hot desert. But the color scheme for it is absolutely beautiful looking. It's got a really nice contrast with like the mountains. Like I love the detail there. And it's got like these, are those clouds or is that the actual terrain that's looking like it's just kind of brushed or brazed or like some strong winds came through. Look at that cool stripe in the terrain. That's really awesome looking. Let's go ahead and fly down and check this out. The atmosphere's got kind of an orangish red as we kind of fly into it. Actually, as we get closer, it kind of turns into a pink color, a pink and blue. Pretty cool. So we got our sedimentary rock texture and like this white, almost salt or quartz looking texture. I don't really know. Not quartz, but something very, very light. Not a geologist, so I don't really know my rocks all that well, but it's got a very cool light texture to it. Gives it a nice contrast against this like very deserty, winded terrain. There's the parenting star, which as you can see, there's not much daylight on this planet because the atmosphere is relatively thin. Looks like a yellow dwarf. White main sequence star, okay. And yeah, it's just a very cool looking planet. And this is apparently a moon, so where's the parenting? Ah, there it is. The parenting gas giant. The parenting gas giant's actually very desaturated in comparison. It's actually just a bland gray color. Very nice. Let's see. Can't seem to... Okay, I can't focus my camera on it for some reason, but... We're in a very cool looking galaxy. We've got some very, very dark clouds, which kind of stop us from seeing the rest of the galaxy. We got another galaxy over there. Let's go ahead and fly around it. It looks almost like Hoag's object, but not quite. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. What is this? What is this over here? Is this a star cluster? Let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. Oh, this must be the, is this a central cluster? Blue luminous supergiant. That is a central cluster. That's a really weird looking kind of central star cluster. They don't normally look like that. It's kind of just an open cluster. Normally it just uses a large globular cluster in the center, but here's a central black hole, which is kind of small actually. A very small black hole for this galaxy. Interesting. Yeah, the size of its accretion disk is only 0.34 astronomical units. Radius. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and check out the other galaxy that was nearby. So we got a few. We got a spiral galaxy over there. We got this spiral galaxy that we're in. And then we got this. This is standing out quite well in the sky. This is a ring galaxy, it looks like. Sagittarius A. I think I've been here before. I don't really recall the look of it though, but it looks really cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been here before. Probably in a very, very early episode though. It's probably why I'm not recalling it so much. But I do recall going over to Sagittarius A. I'm sure that was for like a video. I don't think it was for like a SpaceEngine Exploration. I think I used it in like a 360 video or something like that. I don't really recall. Let's go ahead and check out the black hole in the center and just kind of get a cool view of the just dust, the interstellar dust in this galaxy. Let's go ahead and fly straight to the center where the black hole is. Oh, that one is spinning fast. That is real time, by the way. And yeah, just everywhere you look, you got these very bright stars next to us, of course. But yeah, everywhere you look, there's just darkness and interstellar dust and a few bright areas. It's nowhere near as bright as the center of the Milky Way galaxy, that's for sure. Very nice. So let's go ahead and visit the next suggestion, which is from Melissa M. Willis, I think. Not too sure. Let's go over to the Milky Way, because you can actually see this kind of from the Milky Way, at least in the game. So what they want me to visit is R136A1, which, if you guys are not familiar with it, I use it a lot in Universe Sandbox too, because, well, it's the most massive star that we actually know about. Where is the Magellanic Clouds? Ah, there it is. So R136A1, if you fly towards the large Magellanic Cloud, should be pretty visible as you approach it. Now over here we have a Wolf-Rayet star. Up here, I think we have R136A1 with a very, very high magnitude. I flew past it. There we go. It's like the brightest star in the region. No, that's not R136A1. My mistake. My mistake. It's somewhere around here. Ah, is that it? It's a very bright star. Nope. Stellardrone? It's one of these bright stars. Where are you? Where are you hiding? R136 is a very good hide and seek, it looks like. See, I could have swore it was like somewhere in this region of the Large Magellanic Cloud. Like somewhere around here. I know... Oh wait, is R136A1 the Wolf-Rayet star? Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, I was totally wrong. Whoops. Yeah, I got them mixed up. Now let's go ahead and fly in. This is very common with these Wolf-Rayet stars. As you can see, it's super bright. Like, it totally drowns out the brightness of the other star. And as they kind of pass by, you can see one's brighter than the other. As, well, this super bright star eclipses this other super bright star. Because we got a blue luminous, probably supergiant, and a Wolf-Rayet star. As is pretty typical to see orbiting around each other. The only thing I can really do is just fly close, so it's not so drowned out by the lighting. So over here you have R136A1b and R136A1. One is a blue main sequence star, one's a Wolf-Rayet star. The Wolf-Rayet star should be... Oh, I thought the Wolf-Rayet star would actually be hotter than the blue main sequence star. But essentially what's going on here is Wolf-Rayet stars are known for being incredibly unstable. And apparently this is the most massive star that we actually know about. I don't know how we could actually determine this, but apparently we have. It's not a very large star on the scale of large stars. UY Scatai is much, much larger than this, which... Yeah, basically this thing's just really, really dense for its size. And one day it might even become like some crazy supernova or something. But as you zoom out here, you can see that the image used for this, you see this bright area here. I can only assume that's from the star. Like all that was possibly from like the, because I imagine this is probably just some image that was taken and then cut out and turned into a galaxy in the game. I can only assume that's just the kind of light pollution the star is causing on the sensor of whatever took this image. So it's kind of just overexposed in that area. It's pretty crazy. And then towards over here is the center of the galaxy. Pretty cool that we could actually see like another star all the way from our galaxy. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Sky the Guy. And it looks like it is a randomly generated planet. Let's go ahead and check it out. Oh, what's going on? Well, it doesn't appear to want to load. I can't spot any mistakes in the ID. Is the star actually in the game? It doesn't want to load. Well, that's unfortunate. Jamie Jam mentions that SO-102 is a star located towards the center of the Milky Way. It's the one that I was questioning, orbiting very, very close to the central black hole. Yeah, it's kind of weird that I never spotted that before, but I've actually heard of the star now that I've thought about it. This is basically the closest star to... That's not it. Where is it? Where's it hiding? Is that it? There it is. Basically, this is the star that we think... I just landed on it. Is basically the closest orbiting star to Sagittarius A. And I think that's how we're approximating where Sagittarius A actually is. And I can't seem to fly away from it. Oh, wow. That is creepy looking. I appear to be stuck here. But oh, the accretion disk is going through the star's rendering. That is some very creepy looking stuff. Just gonna back away from that. Okay. And as I was saying, yeah, he went into detail about it. I'll read what he said. It has an orbital period of 11.5 years. As of 2012, it is the star with the shortest known period, orbiting the black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Super interesting. Now, since that's just such a short orbital period, you can only assume it's orbiting something. And this is near the radio source of Sagittarius A. It's just so crazy that it's so close. How do you even view that? How do you detect that? Maybe the light from this accretion disk or other stars or everything else in the center of the Milky Way galaxy just drowning it out. I mean, look at how bright everything is around here. Pretty crazy. But, I mean, that's what the professionals are for, I guess. Because I am definitely not one of them. And I just landed on again. Oh man, that is a creepy view. Let's go ahead and zoom out here. I'm going to mess with something because one thing I noticed is I did watch one of Anton Petrov's videos about, I think, Sagittarius A the other day. It was one where he's flying a ship around it. And one thing I noticed is when I look away from the black hole, I get this weird blur effect at the bottom of my screen here. You can see all the stars are like square shaped. I think that's due to the black hole quality. Let me mess with that. No. It's not because of that. Very odd. I don't know what's actually going on there. Oh, well, that's weird. Oh, he must be running his at low quality because now it looks proper. Interesting. That's a bit weird. Of course, now the black hole's not going to look as good when you actually zoom out. It's not too bad. So when you turn down the quality, it looks worse? Or when you turn up the quality, it looks worse? That's weird to me. Why does it do that? It makes the light kind of at the black hole look a little bit better when you turn that up. I always kept mine on medium. Turning it to high doesn't seem to do anything else. I want to keep it at medium. Nah, I'll keep it on low. But that's weird. Can't say I understand what's going on there either. But let's go and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Scott of the Day. And he says, I have another suggestion, another binary system I found. Let's go ahead and check it out. I think he has two spaces between the RS and the actual ID here. but I can correct for that. Nope, it doesn't look like he actually has that. There's 2 spaces at the end there. And it is an orange subgiant binary, and it looks like it's in the Andromeda galaxy. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. I might be landing on something. Nope, just went to the very center. Okay, this is a binary system, but I think it might be a binary with like a black hole or something, because I don't see what it's actually orbiting around. We got an orange supergiant. Very, very large star. The diameter of it is 5.99 astronomical units. So that's about the distance between Sun and Jupiter. And let's close that. Let's see what's orbiting around it. Yeah, there's certainly a black hole. And there it is. With the quality turned down. Actually, no, that definitely... Oh, I see what's going on. That's why I kept it on medium. Right there. Has a weird warping effect when you do that. Looks kind of proper, but, I mean... What it does is it'll correct for all this stuff that's going on towards like the actual black hole itself, where you're seeing the star like a few billion times. Like if I go ahead and turn this up, yeah, that looks a lot better. So that's why I always kept that on. And now we got a very cool blue shift as we kind of fly and scrape by the event horizon of the black hole. Very cool. Some suggestion. Is there any moons actually? Oh wait, there's stuff orbiting around the black hole. What's this? Hot Selena. Can you imagine being on a planet like this? What would happen to lighting coming from this star? Whenever that black hole eclipses that thing and lenses all that light around this planet? That would be weird. Makes you wonder if it would have like a magnifying glass effect where all the light would be concentrated and possibly burn like the surface of the planet or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing to think about. But I mean, when you think about it, isn't that kind of potentially a thing that could occur? Not really too sure. Is there anything... It's just a lot of hot Selenas, it looks like, orbiting the black hole. What's orbiting this gas giant? We got a hot desert, a cool desert, a bunch of ice worlds. Let's go ahead and check out this hot desert. Nice pink color. And I think that's the other desert. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think that's the other desert over here. The cool desert. Orbiting very, very close to that hot desert, actually. Pretty cool. Okay, so... You guys hear that, right? I have my window open right now, and there's some frogs going nuts outside. So I'll be right back as I close my window. Okay, so I am back. I've never really been interrupted by frogs before. That's a first. But the next suggestion is from Melissa DM Willis and asks me to visit Canis Majoris. So here's Canis Majoris. I think it's the second biggest star that we know about, and yeah, I believe it is more dense than UI Canis, so it actually has more mass. The temperature is pretty low, as is very common with these giant meatball stars. And it has a diameter of 18.13 astronomical units. Very cool. As you can see, my HUD is flickering, so we might end up crashing, and I just literally flew through that star. But as you can see, this planet is 144 degrees Celsius, which is very, very hot for us. But on a planetary scale, it's not all that warm. And as you can see, it's very, very close to the star. Well, it's actually not. It's actually very, very far away from this star. Looks very hellish inside of its atmosphere, looking up and peering at that thing. But the reality is, we are actually very, very far from the star. In fact, we're at a semi-major axis of 46 astronomical units. That is further than the distance between basically the Sun and Pluto. And what's worth noting about Canis Majoris, while it is like 18 times like as big as the Sun, or as massive as the Sun, and has a very, very extreme diameter, it actually has a temperature of 2700 degrees Celsius. But the thing is, with these giant red supergiants, is Well, they're very unstable, so I mean, there is a chance that this could basically just explode. Very cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Sky the Guy. Did I already do one of his suggestions? I did, but let's go ahead and check out the next one from him. There we go. I got it to work now. And the ID didn't even work. Sky the Guy, I think you were the person who had a suggestion earlier in this video that did not work. Make sure you are on SpaceEngine version 0.9.8.0 beta. That is the latest version of SpaceEngine. If you actually post it from earlier versions of SpaceEngine, the IDs do not actually work between versions. So I just figured I'd point that out. Let's go ahead and check out the next suggestion, which is from Shrieking Hawk JV, and he says, go to Regulus. Never heard of that one before. Oh, it's a star. 34 Leonis, Lion's Heart. And let's just go ahead and zoom in. It looks like it is a binary system. Oh no, it looks like there's more than just one star. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. So we have something going on here. We got a red dwarf and an orange dwarf. Over here we have some type of blue star. Blue main sequence star. Partnered with something else. I saw some flickering as we were zooming in. Another orange dwarf? A white dwarf. Interesting, so it's a 4-star system, and I don't think there's any planets? No. A, B, C, and D. Yep, four stars. Very cool. And let's just kind of watch these orbit around for a moment. Let's go ahead and just speed up time. You can see that flickering as the white star kind of orbits around the blue star, so it's causing a lot of flicker, and then we have these two just kind of orbiting in a different manner, but these are also orbiting each other, so if I speed up time even more, you could actually watch them orbit around. Very cool. Let's go ahead and just pause time and reset time completely. And let's move on to the next suggestion, which is once again from Shrieking Hawk JV. And he says, visit VFTS 352. So that is VFTS 352. That does not appear to be actually cataloged, and if it is, it's probably under a different name. So that does not actually want to load. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Scoff of the Day. And he says it is a triple star system. Triple star binary system. Triple star system, I can only assume. Let's go and check it out. Okay, so I am back again. Where did I leave off? Okay, so Scott of the Day has a suggestion that is a triple binary system, so let's go ahead and check that out. And immediately we have a white luminous supergiant. It looks like we're in the Andromeda galaxy, it looks like. So let's go ahead and check it out. We have the supergiant right here. Let's go ahead and fly right in. Whoa, I landed on it. I don't recommend landing on white luminous supergiants. Tends to be deadly. Whoa. What is going on? Help. Fly over there. Okay. So here's what's going on. We have two blue stars, a white main sequence star and a blue main sequence star. So actually a white and blue star. And then we have the white supergiant, which these are orbiting around. These are orbiting around each other, and they're orbiting around this. And that makes for the triple system we're seeing here. Pretty cool. It actually has a nice view of the Andromeda galaxy as well. And you can kind of see, I think that is Triangulum over there, and the Milky Way is probably somewhere off in this direction, if I were to guess. I don't quite see the Milky Way. Is that the Milky Way? No, that is the Milky Way. Okay. Where's Triangulum? I don't see Triangulum from here. Oh, wait, there's Triangulum. It was just not really popping in. Okay. So really cool view of the Andromeda galaxy. It's two kind of twin elliptical galaxies around each other, and nice view of the Milky Way as well. Very nice. Yeah, that galaxy takes a moment to pop in for some reason. Pretty odd. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Jordan Taylor. Apparently, Gabriel says this ID needs fixed. It doesn't want to load. Let's remove that question mark. Yeah, the ID doesn't actually want to load. Well, that's unfortunate. A lot of IDs that are not loading. Like I said, make sure you guys are on the latest version of SpaceEngine when making these suggestions. Neo Devil asked for me to go to IC1101. I'm going to skip that suggestion only because, as Gabriel said, I've been there many, many, many times. I go there in almost every video. Yeah, let's just go ahead and skip over that suggestion. If you want to actually check out IC1101, I have 360-degree videos. I have the videos of me actually flying in and seeing it for the first time. I have multiple videos of me revisiting it. I actually do have a lot of videos on IC1101, so yeah, if you want to see a lot of like details and other cool things about IC1101, definitely check out the other videos I have on my channel. So the next suggestion is from Zadaki222 Gaming, and he says, go to Venus and land on it and see what it looks like. Does Venus actually have an atmosphere in this game, or is it just a texture? I don't really recall. Let's go ahead and fly over to Venus real quick. It does actually have an atmosphere. But as is typically common with these worlds that already have like a pre-textured map, they're typically very, very flat. I turned off the cloud layer so we can kind of just see the terrain. It is a little bit bumpy actually, but not too bumpy. As you can see, it's a relatively flat world. And let's go ahead and turn on the cloud layer. With the clouds, we can't really see very much. This is what Venus looks like on the ground layer in this game. It's just kind of a sand texture, and it's a low resolution texture map. Really do pre-generated worlds much justice, to be honest. And if we look over at the star, it's completely diffused by the atmosphere. But we can disable the cloud layer and kind of get a cool view of its atmosphere. Very nice. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from T. Longle Ben SMB, I think. Longle Ben SSD or SND, SMB. I don't know. That's hard to pronounce name. Let's go ahead and check it out. It's HD 40307G with a question mark apparently. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. If I do end up like sniffling into my mic, it's because I have a cold once again. I just really have not mentioned that. I don't know why. I keep getting sick very commonly. I don't know if it's just winter. I don't know if my immune system's terrible. I don't know if I'm dying. But yeah, I keep getting sick. So we got some really cool rings. See, this looks almost like Venus, but with rings. We got this cool kind of coarse looking ground texture. Very, very dry looking. We're on a hot desert. Discovered it in 2012 via radio velocity. Got a really nice view of the star. And let's just turn on the real planet brightness. Oh wait, that's already enabled. So it's just very, very bright, even though the star is actually way over there. Interesting. Oh, that is a very, very hot world, too. That must be a very powerful star. As you can see, it's got like kind of a red color to the clouds here in the back, and you can actually see them glowing slightly from thermal shift. 346 degrees Celsius, very, very thick atmosphere. And a very, very strong greenhouse effect. That's probably why it's so warm, because that's only an orange dwarf. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's see if I can find the next suggestion real quick. Since we visited Canis Majoris, let's go ahead and go over to UI Scatai. Since Aiden Star, the warrior cat, has mentioned this. He says he thought UI Scatai was the biggest, because I did mention that I found I didn't find the biggest star. I visited the biggest star that has been found so far in my previous video. Well, that's because randomly generated stars in this game get absurdly huge, but UI Scatai is the biggest recorded star that we know of currently. And it's sitting at a diameter of 15 astronomical units, so does that mean Canis Majoris is actually bigger? Wasn't Canis Majoris 18? Let's go back over to Canis Majoris. Which, as you can see, is quite far from here. Oh yeah, Canis Majoris in this game actually has a bigger diameter. Interesting. They're variable stars, so they shrink and grow. But that's pretty interesting. It looks like the game has crashed, so I'll be right back again. Okay, so I have the game loaded again. The next suggestion is from Trident Prism, I can only assume? P-R-Z-I-M? Not sure. They post 4 suggestions, which I'm only going to visit the first 2, as Gabriel mentioned. For anyone who is new to the series, I only accept 2 suggestions per person, per video. So pick your favorite 2 and basically just put them down in the comments if you want me to actually visit it in the video. I try to get around to all of them. Sometimes I do miss one, and if I do ever miss one, you are free to just repost it in the next video. It's perfectly fine. So it looks like we're in the Andromeda galaxy again, and oh, we got a beautiful gas giant with actually not really pinkish, but more purple colored rings, and not rings, but like bands on it, and a pink atmosphere. Pretty cool, and we got a nice view of that globular cluster nearby. The ring itself does not appear to have any color. It appears to be actually relatively dark. And it looks like we have a small little asteroid over here just hanging out, orbiting in its own little portion of the rings, possibly. No, it's actually scraping along the edge, but we have a couple more over here just hanging out over by the rings as well. None of them are quite in the rings. Pretty cool. Is there any actual moons around this gas giant? There's a planet with life over here. Let's go ahead and check that out. Oh, it's subglacial, so we're not actually able to visualize it. But we got a nice world with life potentially under the ice. You can see there's some huge cracks in the surface, possibly from plate tectonics. And we got disco craters, which are always cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is once again from Trident. A nice orange gas giant orbiting a zirconium star with a nice view of a star cluster and the parent galaxy. Let's go ahead and check it out. Whoops. Get rid of that space. There we go. Oh, it's not loading. I can only assume it's because that's just an R. I think we need to add an S to that. Oh no, it's still not loading. Alright, we'll just pick another suggestion, which is a warm Terra orbiting a red giant and a white dwarf. Nice view of the inner galaxy. Once again from Trident. Let's get rid of that space. A white main sequence star, it looks like. Kind of a oval shaped, and whoa, what was going on with that star over there? You guys see that? That was a little bit weird. Let's go ahead and check out this red giant over here. This thing's huge. It has a diameter of 2 astronomical units, so about the distance between Earth and Mars. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and check out what's actually orbiting around here. Looks like we have a gas giant that's incredibly warm, sitting at 521 degrees. As you can see in the preview there, at the top, thermal emission shift going on. It's actually very, very warm in the back, and it's actually putting off its own illumination. Look at that dark storm there. Very cool looking. Game, hot ice giant, but yeah, I think that's understandable. So, it's orbiting a white dwarf and has a nice view of the inner galaxy. Oh, this is that ring galaxy kind of texture, isn't it? Let's go ahead and zoom out and check this out. Oh. Oh, wait, I have seen this galaxy texture before. It's a little... It's kind of like a ring galaxy. No, it's more of like a typical spiral. But very, very white in the center. Very bright. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Cunning Wolf. It says, can you explore the Triangulum galaxy? It seems like no one has ever given it any attention, despite the fact that it's in our local galactic cluster. I'm gonna have to say no, because this video is already running along, like, it's already a very, very long video. If you want, what you could do is you can you can go explore it yourself and give me some, like, noteworthy things to actually go and visit there. Yeah, basically, very long video. I have a lot of suggestions to go through, and if they're going to keep getting 1,600 views like this, the suggestions are only going to keep going up. So yeah, basically I can't go around and just explore things. The planets and stuff that are going to be in there are going to be very similar to the ones in other galaxies as well, so it's not like we're going to see anything too new. If you want to find some that has some really cool views of the Triangulum galaxy, like ones that are kind of orbiting above it, let's actually just go ahead and do that. Let's go over to Triangulum and do that. And find some that are like in cool nebulas on the outskirts of the galaxy or something like that. Just go. Triangulum, kind of a purple galaxy. Has this huge, huge nebula. Is this like a supernova or something? I remember somebody, I think it was, yeah, Derpsauce Gaming, I think suggested a planet inside of this crazy looking nebula in the Triangulum galaxy. It needs work. It does, this nebula here. We can't just have a box-shaped nebula sitting inside of Triangulum when you come towards it. It just does not look natural at all whatsoever. And its magnitude is like incredibly high. But I guess it would have to be for us to actually see that. Oh, what was that? Oh, we have one of those dark nebulas. One of those ones, I guess, that are kind of cooled down or something. Let's go ahead and fly to the center of that. Creepy looking. Red. Basically boiling off because of the star. Very cool looking, and it's in this dark nebula. You can barely even see the galaxy on the outside of it. Really cool. We have a gas giant over here. Not that one, but let's go over to that one anyways. Got an ice world, really red color. Disco craters. I always approve of disco craters. Every ice world must have them. Got a temperate Selena over here. That is... What is going on here? Oh. Oh, okay. That makes sense now. Okay. It's in the shadow of the gas giant. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It's being eclipsed by the gas giant. That was very confusing for a second. I was like, why is this so dark? Is that a bug or something? No, it's just in the eclipse of the gas giant. Pretty cool. What galaxy is it? Is that Andromeda right there? You can kind of see Andromeda through the shadow of that nebula. Let's go ahead and zoom out and see if we can find like some cluster up here or something. Not really seeing any star clusters up here. What about down here? Which, if I flip my camera around, is now up here. Ah, there's a star cluster. Let's go ahead and fly over there. Hello, black hole. Let's find a star in this area. Little red dwarf here. Try to find a Terra or something. Oh, a zirconium star. Pretty low chances I would just randomly click on that. Okay, let's check out the Scorched Desert. It's got a cool purple color to it. The clouds are reddish. They're glowing in the back here. And, whoa, what's going on? Star. Is that the... No, that's a comet tail. Okay. I thought for some reason the center of the galaxy was like a bluish color. But no. Oh, wow. Look at that view. That is pretty looking. That is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. That is so cool. I'm definitely bookmarking this. That is awesome looking. If you want to visit this planet yourself, the ID is going to be up in the top left corner. All you have to do is just type in that ID in the search feature under Find Objects. Just paste that in, type it in, whatever. And you can actually check this out for yourself. I do have the timescale reset, which you can do by clicking this button to actually reset the time back to basically the start of whenever the game feels like it. And yeah, you can check out that awesome view of the Triangulum galaxy. And there's Andromeda just hanging out in the back there. And there's that nebula. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Jordan Taylor again. Let's see if this ID actually works. Nope, once again, it doesn't appear to work, according to Gabriel. But I'll give it a shot anyways. Let's get that space out of the beginning there. Nope, it is still not working. The next suggestion is from the Interstellar Storm 4180. And he says, "Thank you for the correction, Gabriel." Gabriel is just on top of correcting these comments. Temperate Terra with life. Color palette being used on this. Got kind of a white atmosphere, it looks like. Kind of brown water, I think. It might be a different color once we actually get over there. That could just be the atmosphere messing with us. And we got some nice vibrant green life. And snow caps on these mountains. Pretty cool. It is a relatively cold world. It is 3 degrees Celsius, which for reference, Earth is around 12 to 15 if I'm correct. Has an ESI of 89%, so pretty Earth-like. Has a diameter of 17,000 kilometers, so 1.33 times the size of Earth. A little bit bigger than our Earth. Has a semi-major axis of 0.52 astronomical units. Judging by the sky color, I can only assume it's orbiting some kind of red dwarf. And what else is really noteworthy here? Well, we got these beautiful, very shiny, eroded hills. I believe that might be our star over there. It's actually an orange dwarf, not a red dwarf. As you can see, it has a really cool effect on these snowy mountains. It looks very cool. And you can see kind of some grass and the cliff texture just popping in. There's our life textures. Looks like grass, and I can't really tell what that is. But very nice. And as you can see, we're in the shadow of the rings of this planet. Let's go ahead and fly out and check out these awesome rings. Very nice. Let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, once again from the Interstellar Storm. Like father, like son, gas giant with a moon and somewhat thick rings. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's get rid of that question mark. And here we go. Okay. Before I actually check out this planet, I'm going to check out this galactic collision because that has my attention. We're in a globular cluster, and we got this really cool galactic collision here. Oh, okay, so that's actually a different type of galaxy texture. At first, I thought I was actually using the Andromeda galaxy texture, but it doesn't appear so. Oh, and look at that galaxy back there. That one looks really cool. It's got like two very divided arms. Alright, nice. So let's go ahead and fly back over to that planet, which is just hanging out here in this globular cluster. There is a star way out there, and a star right here. So here's the gas giant. He says like father, like son, so I can only assume that potentially, if I select the right star here, we have a little planet here with rings. These ones got some nice divided rings. It looks very cool. Very yellow rings. It is actually a Terra. It looks a lot more like an Oceania than Terra, so there must be some type of terrain here. Looks like a volcano over here. It looks like it's inactive, though. It might be some kind of active volcano. I'm not really sure. Ah, there we go. So we do actually have a continent over here. Looks like a supercontinent. Very, very bumpy hills. And yeah, very, very yellow atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, it looks like. And the terrain is incredibly shiny. So this does have life, both marine and terrestrial. I'm just not really seeing any of it. I can't quite find the life texture anywhere. Oh wait, that might be it. Nope, doesn't appear so. Yeah, I can't quite find the life texture on this planet, but pretty cool. Look at that view. That is like weird looking. It looks like it's just messy. By that I mean there's like two galaxies just kind of hanging out on their sides. We got our ring that's like tilted up vertically here, and then we have this gas giant here with like rings facing horizontal. It just looks weird. No real consistency to that whatsoever. But very cool suggestion. That's definitely a really awesome view. See if we can go to the black hole in the center of this. Oh, there we go. Flying a little bit too fast. And let's just hit play and speed up time a little bit. That galaxy kind of flickered. Ah, there we go. A little bit too quick. It'd be very cool to actually be able to see the galaxies spin around in this game. Of course, that kind of simulation would be very, very complex if you actually want the stars to move. Maybe that could potentially be a thing with random galaxies. I don't see that happening with the Milky Way anytime soon. But random galaxies, maybe. There might be potential for that. I just don't think the galaxies would really be as detailed and cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is... Well, that's a Universe Sandbox 2 suggestion. I'll just skip over that. Which is from Jack Mimano. And they suggest, please visit KIC 846285-2 Tabby Star. It is in weird transit fluctuations. Somebody told me about Tabby Star. I've been there before. I forget what's weird about Tabby Star though. Alright, it's like it blinks at like a certain interval. Yeah, we think it. Yeah. Okay, so this is not working. I don't see it in the catalog here. But I'll visit Tabby Star. Yeah, it has a very consistent weird flicker. No. Was it a consistent interval? It flickers. The lighting drops by like a high percentage or something like that. Or not a high percentage, but by like a significant amount. I can't find it anywhere in here, but let me see if I can find this real quick. Right, that's correct. It's not in the game, it's not cataloged. I ran into this problem before, the last time I actually had this star suggested to me. So, yeah, unfortunately, I cannot actually load that. The next suggestion is from Derp Gaming. It says, go to giant flat frisbee Pluto. Of course you would suggest this. Okay, so in a live stream, let's go over to Pluto real quick. I don't know, it's just a random joke. I made Pluto flat for some reason. It's not saved, it's not stored that way, but let's go ahead and just reset time. So here's our lovely favorite dwarf planet Pluto. And what I did was basically I loaded up the editor, edited the planet, and did the same thing I did to Earth in that one video. I made it incredibly flat. So it's like a pancake now. Just straight up flattened Pluto. There's a flat Pluto. So I hope that appeased that suggestion anyways. I do love the atmosphere around Pluto though. It gives it a really cool look. The sun doesn't really shift colors when you pass through it though. So let's go ahead and just close this and move on to the next suggestion, which once again is from Derp Gaming. It says, visit this and its moon. So let's go ahead and paste that in. And what was that? Was that Hoag's object? Not sure. Really cool Earth-like Terra though. Really weird looking atmosphere as well. 7 major axis of 55 astronomical units, so I can only assume it's orbiting around some type of smaller star like a red dwarf or orange dwarf. It has an ESI of 84%. It looks a lot more like Earth than a lot of planets I've seen with higher ESIs, that's for sure. But the diameter is 17,000 kilometers, 1.37 times the size of Earth. The atmosphere composition is CO2, oxygen, and nitrogen, so we would actually be able to survive on this world. But it does actually have a high pressure of 3 atmospheres, so we'd have to adapt to that. It wouldn't really be too difficult. And in reality, it would probably allow for things to actually be taller. But you would probably feel the extra pressure. It wouldn't really be significant. When you do something like dive underwater, you go through a lot more atmospheric pressure than that. And it has a temperature of 41 degrees Celsius, so it's a really, really warm planet in comparison to our Earth. Got some beautiful, shiny blue water. Got a nice light blue, kind of a tropical blue going on. And let's see if it actually has some polar caps. It is a really warm world. Well, that has snow on it, so I can only assume it probably does. No, I'm not actually seeing any polar caps or anything. But let's go ahead and check out its sunset. Very nice. Actually, quite Earth-like. A little bit more purple and yellow in it, but very cool nonetheless. And we have these beautiful rings. They do. Kind of a reddish color. Very, very desaturated red and maybe a little bit of blue or gray there. Very nice. Let's go ahead and check out what galaxy we're in. So what galaxy is this? Oh, Sagittarius A. It's kind of odd. Definitely got a suggestion here earlier in this episode. Very nice nonetheless. Let's go to Hoag's object just to see if I'm messing things up here. Like, Hoag's object looks a lot like that, doesn't it? Oh no, that's Hoag's object. I'm thinking of Black Eye. The Black Eye galaxy. Hoag's object is a ring galaxy. Yeah, Black Eye kind of looks like that. It doesn't really have the gold color that the other ones had, though. Very, very cloudy with interstellar dust. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Aiden Star, the Warrior Cat, once again. And he says, go to the edge of the universe. Let's go ahead and fly over there. So if we set ourselves to max speed, let's make this a little bit more visual appealing by turning up the scale a little bit, and the overbright. And for the heck of it, I don't normally turn this on, let's turn on the motion blur. And engage our warp drive. So this takes a couple of minutes, but you can actually fly to the edge of the observable universe in this game, which is very cool. So as you see, we're flying past tens and thousands and millions of galaxies. Tons and tons of galaxies. Many, many galaxies. And as you can see, the ones that are actually in the distance have a red shift to them as they slowly appear in our visible spectrum, which is very cool. And the ones we recede away from do exactly the same. This is a pretty cool effect. And there's that galaxy that was red a little while ago. And as we approach it, it becomes wider. And here it is. This is the edge, which is a square shape in this game, if you guys do not know. It's actually just a huge box. Can't fly any faster than this. The game caps us at 326 millilight years per second, which I think is the biggest diameter galaxies can actually get if you exclude IC 1101 or pre-made galaxies. Here we go. Now we're at the corner of the universe. Pretty weird, right? Let's see if we can get to the actual corner of the universe, like the corner of the box. By the way, you can fly faster if you actually select an object and follow that. As we fly across, you can see that there's kind of like a layering effect. But we're still at the corner here. We're still flying down. And let's see if we can find like the kind of corner of the box, the edge of the box. Where three faces of this box actually meet. I normally leave the motion blur off, mainly because I'm not a really big fan of this effect. I don't like motion blur in pretty much any kind of game. And I don't like what it does when you turn your camera. You can turn off the rotational blur, but I'd just prefer to have it off. So here it is, the corner of the universe, apparently. Because it's not round. In our universe, or in this universe, everything is square. And over here we might just find the cornermost galaxy at this corner of the universe, because there's other corners too. It's a box. Galaxy. So there you go. That's the edge of the universe in this game. At least the observable universe. And yeah, pretty cool. If you guys want to see another cool effect, I could actually fly to the Milky Way. I actually have a dedicated video on this as well, which this will get us there very quickly, as you can see. The magnitude, we could actually turn up the galaxy magnitude. This doesn't lag the game nearly as bad as turning up star magnitude. You can see the Milky Way in a very bright and cool fashion. Looks almost Christmassy. You can see all the nebulas. It illuminates the globular clusters, nebulas, other things very brightly. Gives the Milky Way a very cool effect. And you could even see the supercluster that we're in, which is right there. That big, bright kind of cluster of galaxies. Very awesome. We're actually in a very, very large supercluster, by the way. Like, the Milky Way is already kind of a large galaxy. But the supercluster we're in is very, very large. Very cool. assume if we click on galaxies kind of in the local area, a lot of these might just be, yeah, a lot of these are actually cataloged. A lot of them are randomly generated, and a lot more are just cataloged. So, yeah, pretty cool. Here's a elliptical galaxy, and you can actually see the clusters inside of it if you turn up the galaxy magnitude. If we actually go back over to the Milky Way, it's actually a very good way to quickly spot a nebula. Like, there's the Milky Way, and there's all of the clusters and nebulas and everything kind of loaded in. But yeah, it's very awesome. Very bright. Probably making the video compression go nuts, and yeah, it's just a very cool effect. Let's go ahead and just reset all that to default, and let's move on to the next suggestion, which is from Mr. Star Wars, and he says he has a moon here with an ESI of 89%, not 86. So let's go ahead and check it out. Let's get rid of that question mark. A Terra with life, organic, multicellular, marine, and terrestrial. Atmospheric compositions are CO2 and oxygen, with a very, very thin atmosphere, very, very thin visible white atmosphere. It looks very foggy, in fact. The temperature is very, very similar to Earth, has a diameter of 8,600 kilometers, so 68% of that of Earth, and a very low-lying cloud layer, and has some beautiful eroded hills with vibrant green grass on it, which is using the actual grass texture. And as you can see, we have these nice thick rings. I still have motion blur on, so you can see the stars blurring up as I pan the camera around. Very nice looking world. I don't see any polar caps though, which you would think of a planet of this temperature would actually have. In fact, I don't even see any snow caps really. Maybe it's due to, no? Yeah, it might just be due to the low pressure. A lot of it just might be boiled off, and that's probably why the atmosphere is so foggy. That would make sense. An incredibly high humidity, I guess. Very cool. So let's go ahead and check out the next suggestion, which is from Jacob Plays. Let's get rid of that question mark. S5, apparently. Oh, it's a star around Sagittarius A? That doesn't sound right. Oh, wow. When you're in the center of the galaxy rotate, yeah, I'm turning that off. It's a cool effect, but I mean, dang. Much better. So S5, a star in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, orbiting around, I could only assume, Sagittarius A, wherever it might be. Oh, there's Sagittarius A. I don't think this is what he was actually trying to link me, but that's all I got. The ID didn't actually work, and that was from Jacob Plays. So let's see. I don't think, oh yeah, there are a couple more suggestions. We got some from Plazasta, which he says, the first one here, is a scorched desert with a diameter of something. I think you meant to put a comma there. 33,000? Yeah, 33,000 kilometers, 2.5 times the size of Earth. And it's a molten world. It's actually, it's not tidally locked. Probably a rather slow orbit, or rotational period. And has some very, very thick cloud layers, and it looks like it's molten. Has a temperature of 975 degrees. Greenhouse effect of 530 degrees. As we fly down, it's not actually completely molten. It actually does have a ground texture. Pretty cool. Ah, here we go. That's better. We're now in the daytime area. We can't really see the star. It's completely diffused by the atmosphere and those incredibly thick clouds. There's not really much hills going on. It's actually a really flat world, it looks like. Pretty interesting. And the atmosphere is comprised of a lot of things you probably would not want to breathe. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which once again is from Pleiades, and it is a frozen ice giant with a diameter of 32,000 kilometers. So, not really that big, and I think that's why I put quotes around giant. For a gas world, that's actually relatively small. Kind of looks like Neptune. A little bit. Not too much. Looks a little bit more like Uranus, but has a blue color to it. Oh, and look at that. It's just kind of illuminating this little ice world that's orbiting around it. Very nice. Is this actually a binary orbit? No, it doesn't appear to be. It's an actual moon. You'd think a small rocky world like that would probably get that to orbit around it, but I guess not. As you can see, it makes a really cool effect on this ice world, though. Gives it a nice blue color. Makes it look, well, actually like an ice world. Pretty nice. Really brightly illuminated. And it has disco craters and volcanic activity. So, yeah, I have to say that is actually a really awesome looking world. I love the glowing volcanoes in the kind of blue area. Like, man, camera's going nuts. I like started clicking and it was like deselecting the window for some reason. Can't even explain that. What is going on with this volcano here? That is weird. Yeah, this looks like a incredibly alien looking world though, if you just look at it from this angle. Just seeing like that's a very awesome effect. Let's go ahead and turn off the orbit map so we don't have that floating in the sky. Really laggy when I look off in this direction for some reason. Not too sure why. But very cool world. Very cool little ice world orbiting around it. And I don't know, you can take that as a pun if you want, but I'm going to move on to the next suggestion, which is from Robbie the Gorilla. He says, M45, it is a set of beautiful young blue stars. Oh yeah, the Pleiades Nebula. Or cluster, rather. Yeah, I've been here before. I actually have a dedicated video on this where I call it Pleiades, and then I get nagged at for calling it that. Because, well, that's kind of how that's spelled, but it's actually Pleiades. So, Pleiades. It's actually a really awesome thing that I do recommend you actually check out in SpaceEngine. If we actually go over to Earth, Earth, you could actually see the Pleiades cluster right here from Earth. And that is that little dipper kind of shaped thing right over there. You could actually view that with your naked eye at nighttime, just right there in the night sky. It's actually very visible. It doesn't really have that blue color with your naked eye, but I'm sure if you actually got like a telescope or something, you could actually see that beautiful blue color. So let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion, which is from Gabriel the Hun. And he says, it's a warm Terra with rainbow rings and a rainbow nebula somewhere in its skies. The seasonal changes are kind of unusual and has a violent swing between 29 and 51 degrees Celsius during the year. So pretty extreme weather. This planet is very unique if you ask me. Let's go ahead and check it out. Has an ESI of 75%, and I just flew through like 4 galaxies getting over here. It's a 3-way galactic collision? Sure. Where's the world at? This is a... I saw it. It's not loading in. I will be right back. I will try to reload the game and see if that fixes this. Okay, there we go. I got it to load, and yeah, that does actually have some very rainbow-looking rings. Pretty cool. There is the parenting star, a yellow dwarf. That's what it is, much like our sun. And let's just go ahead and zoom into this planet here. We have some snowy mountains, it looks like. Very, very dark shadows from these rings, mainly because they're all kind of concentrated and blocking out the star. Oh, and that's a very cool effect. The rings have like a cool color to it, and look at that. That is awesome looking. Oh, and there it is from the actual atmosphere. And we have some kind of orangish life, it looks like, and very, very dark shadows, because once again, the rings are all kind of concentrated in this area. Pretty cool. And he says it has some pretty crazy seasons. Is it because it's like an eccentric orbit or something like that? Or is it just due to its axial tilt? Not very eccentric on the orbit. Let's go ahead and zoom back into it. So how could he actually tell what the seasons are? Is it like under the information? Not that I actually see. I'm sure if you just sit on the planet and let it rotate around, it'll tell you the temperature based on where it's actually at. You can see the temperature there. Currently it's like 11 degrees in this area. And that does actually vary as you kind of go through day and night and change the season. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and pause this. So yeah, apparently this has some pretty crazy temperature fluctuations. So I can only imagine all these snow caps here on these mountains actually melt off. I don't think they'll actually physically do that in the game. I don't think that's visually supported yet, but it'd be pretty cool to actually see that in the game. So Gabriel the Hun says, I managed to get to the corner of the universe. Wow. That's a bit awkward, but let's go ahead and check out this one. This should supposedly be in the corner of the universe. I don't know if I recently mentioned that the universe is square in this game. And is this the actual corner? That's what that is. So here's another corner of the universe apparently. I don't think that's the cornermost galaxy, but that's roughly in the corner section. That's pretty much the cornermost galaxy. It's a contender between that one and this one, I would say. But very cool. Let's go ahead and just reset our magnitude so we don't crash the game and move on to the next suggestion, which is from PCCTS Knights Templar. If it doesn't work, it's either because I didn't type it correctly or it's not one from the latest update. Apparently Gabriel confirms, yep, it does not work. But I'll give it a try anyways. And no, that does not work. The next one is from AV. And Derpsauce Gaming says it's absolutely beautiful. So let's go ahead and check that out. This is also the last suggestion, I do believe, for this episode. So let's get rid of that question mark and let's fly over there. Temperate Terra with life. Oh, okay. Very detailed. I like the color scheme we got going on here. Very winterish green and kind of like a desaturated brown color. Got some hills here. Got some volcanoes covered in snow because of their absurdly high altitude in this game. Here's the life texture, which is like a dry forest over there and some type of roofed forest right here. These beautiful thick rings that are showing up in the atmosphere. Kind of some cool texturing going on with the volcano here. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. And just kind of pan around this world and see what we could actually find. So we do have polar caps, it looks like, and a giant crater here in the north. Or south. Not really too sure. And is that some kind of lake? What's going on here? Is that just a cloud layer? Oh no, there's actually water here. That's pretty cool. Very, very shiny snow. And lovely looking auroras. And over there it looks like we have an open cluster, I would say. Maybe? Possibly. Oh, over there's the Carina Nebula. So we're actually in the Milky Way. Pretty cool. Well, I think on that note, I'm going to end the episode here. If you guys like the video, please leave it a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe. It really does help. And I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, well, that's the first time I've been interrupted by frogs, but let's go ahead and move on to the next suggestion. Okay, so the next one is from Tesla Lightning, and he says, check out M31, which I do think is a galaxy. I might have actually been there before. I think that was another thing else. Nope, it doesn't appear to actually be loading. M Space 31, it looks like. Which is... right here. Yeah, it's... okay. You got the galaxy, and then you got the black hole. Yep.